what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we finally take a look at and review my Agile Chiral guitar. So first off, let's talk about Rondo Music for a little bit and my history with that company. I've purchased probably 3 or 4 guitars from them now, and each time it's been a pretty good experience. The first time that I bought an Agile guitar, it was like my second guitar that I purchased with my own money, and it was, decent. It fit my needs at the time. Since then, like I said, I know a little bit more about instruments and what I'm doing since then, and still, each time, at least for the money, every guitar has been at least good. And whether it's good, great, or excellent kind of depends on what you're really looking for and what your standards for an instrument are, Because I can tell you right now, straight up, the quality control on this instrument is not great. It's I'd say this is probably the worst QC guitar I've received from Agile. But that said, it's nothing that affects playability or the sound of the guitar or anything like that. It's just little things. Some of which should not be on a $1,000 guitar, but I think it may have been it happened to my guitar. And it won't necessarily be everyone's experience. But alright, let's talk about that specifically. So when my guitar showed up, I was super happy with it, of course, but I eventually noticed that it had what looked like a crack in the neck. After talking to a couple of people, including the guys over at Rondo themselves, I've come to believe that it is just a crack in the finish of the neck. So the guitar neck itself is not cracked, as far as I can tell. But even when I pointed it out to the guys at Rondo, they offered me instantly that I could send the guitar back and they shipped me out a replacement. The main reason I didn't do that was because that replacement would have been just the light blue version of this guitar, and I really like this finish. And my thought process was, if it actually is just a finish crack, I'm fine with it. As far as I can tell, that is all that it is. So it's not really a big deal. I think I should be able to show it in a video that I took earlier. But yeah, like I said, I think that's just unique to my guitar. The things that I would not guess is probably unique to my guitar is the fretwork. This should also be in a video on screen. The fretwork on this guitar is extremely uneven. Each fret looks a little bit different in terms of just the fret edges. That said, just running my fingers down the side of it, it feels totally fine. Like, I can feel the frets a little bit, but it's not sharp at all. I've definitely had some guitars where the frets felt a lot sharper than this. Like, this is not sharp, but you can feel them, that they're there. But yeah, when you look at them, it's not very aesthetically pleasing compared to higher end guitars. Yeah, for sure. You can definitely get guitars in this price range, some a little cheaper, that have better looking frets and fret edges than this guitar does. But that's kind of my point. The nice thing about this guitar is, it's doing the whole headless, extended range, Fishman Fluence thing. It has a whole bunch of the features that folks that like this type of guitar want at a $1,000 price point. That said, if you pay $1,000 for like a Schecter, 9 times out of 10 you're going to get a good bit better quality control than something that's on this guitar. But for me, I think it's a great guitar. Like I said, it's $1,000. Not that saying that's cheap or anything, but in terms of the features that you get, it's certainly affordable. One more thing I want to point out is that at some point they upgraded this model. They changed the bridge hardware that's here. So if one of these guitars pops up for sale, make sure that you check out the bridge and that it is this bridge. So the old bridge that was on this series of guitars is widely considered one of the worst, if not the worst, headless hardware that comes on guitars. Of course, I don't have any experience with that myself, but at least one friend of mine does own a guitar that has that old hardware, and he says that it's a huge headache to deal with. So that's just something I want you all to be aware of. Other than that, I think my only kind of complaint about the guitar is the placement of the truss rod. Most headless guitars, you can get to the truss rod in the spot that would be right here. On this one, it is in the front of the headstock, so behind where the fret wrap is. That's not a huge deal, but I like the ability to make little micro adjustments even while the guitar is strung up. You still can do it, but it's not how I would prefer to have it. Similar to my last cheaper Agile, the selection switch doesn't feel super sturdy. You know, I could definitely see this wearing out or breaking at some point, but I haven't had any issues with it as of now. And I normally don't talk too much about wiring and all that sort of stuff because I don't know a whole lot about it. But I did notice that looking inside the cavity of where the cavity where the battery and some of the wiring is at, it's not very pretty. Like looking at it, it looks like very much designed to just be functional and not be pretty at all. It's like some people would say there's a rat's nest in there. It doesn't look great. But again, like I said, everything functions just fine. I think that it's a very pretty looking guitar. The finish on this top doesn't jump out in person quite as much as it did on the website, but even still, I think it's very pretty. Electronics work great, sounds good, and all that. So in terms of if I would recommend you to buy this guitar, I think in terms of a guitar with, again, these feature sets, headless, extended range, Fishman Fluence, an ash body, one of these, progressive metal looking tops. It's just a very genty looking guitar. If you like that sort of thing, this probably is one of the better options in this price range. Because what else are you looking at? GOC, some people like those. That's another option. But yeah, I think this is at least a solid option in that price range. And I'm glad that I bought mine. I'm more than likely going to keep it. Alright, so with that said, let's go ahead and transition into playing this thing and talk about the sounds a little bit. Alright, here we go. So, as many of you will probably remember, I had this little period a while back where I did a video on the Fishman Fluence Moderns and how I did not enjoy them. It's possible that it was just that they were a bad fit in that guitar. Maybe my ears have changed a little bit or something. I don't know. But that said, right now I do very much enjoy the way that the Moderns sound in this guitar. I wouldn't say that I prefer it to any of my bare knuckle pickups that I have installed right now. But there are times where I'll pick it up and it's like, yeah, there are times where I prefer the sound of this guitar. But that said, let's hear it into the KSR Artemis. This is clean channel with no pedals other than the gate here. Alright, yeah, there you go. So the clean channel the cleans on this guitar sound totally fine. Particularly for just a very flat sounding clean tone. That a lot of people get a lot of use out of, myself included. There's definitely times where if I need a certain clean tone, I would probably pick this guitar up over others. But yeah, that said, let's go ahead and get some driven sounds out of the KSR Artemis, and I'll jump over to the Cherry Tone Leviathan in a little bit as well. Quite nice. Nothing wrong with that in the slightest. Let's jump over to Cherry on Leviathan. Quite nice. And yeah, so just for fun here, let's go ahead and turn on both my Cherry on Leviathan and a patch that I have at the Axe Effects, which is a Soldano patch. Let's see what that sounds like. There we go. Quite fun. I can do that all day. And yeah, so that's a great place to leave it at. I could do this all day. So, regardless of the issues that I brought up, yes, they definitely exist. I'm really enjoying this guitar. I have no intention to sell it, at least at the moment. We'll see how that goes. But Fishman influences aside, I think they're sounding really good. At least in this guitar, I'm really liking the way the influences sound. And the guitar itself is just, to to me, a joy to play. Should have mentioned this earlier, but the way the neck feel. For instance, my Zen is currently one of my favorite 8-strings, but it has like a significantly rounder feeling neck than even this one does. Excuse me, this neck is nowhere near as slim and as fast as the neck on my Black Cat, but I still like it. It's comfortable. It's like a comfortable curve to it, whereas the Zen almost has like a baseball bat type of curve to it going on. I'd compare it to how I felt about the neck on my Schecter Hellraiser Hybrid 8, but I'd say this is still a little bit thicker than that was. But yeah, I like it. But hey, if you guys enjoyed this video, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, take care. If you have any questions or anything, please drop them down in the comment section. See you there.